Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new Cardfight Vanguard video for you guys today. Kind of. So today we're going to be talking about the Buddyfight crossover set that was just fully revealed this past week. Between, the beginning of this week and last week. We have two full decks. We have a lot of support to cover. So we're going to cover out the cards for this specific deck, talk about the build, and then of course go jump into a game as we always do. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's jump in and let's talk about it. All right, guys. So we got the first deck here. This is the Gao deck. I'm going to talk really fast because we have a lot of cards to cover, and I don't want this video to be too ridiculously long. It is still going to be long, so bear with me. So we're going to talk about the ride line first, and then we're going to go grade by grade through all the support that pertains to this specific deck. We do have a whole nother deck that we will probably have a video on tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that, but let's jump into this one. So we have our starter. This starter applies to both decks. Now, Dragon World. This is our starter, Auto Vanguard. When you stand up, say raise the flag, and you become a Buddy Fighter. When you become a Buddy Fighter, put a Buddy monster from your ride deck into the order zone. So a couple things about this that are cool. Well, I thought it was funny that stand-up Vanguard is usually, supposed to be how you start a Cardfight Vanguard game. And with this, you actually say raise the flag, which is how they used to start a Buddyfight game. And when you put a Buddy monster into your order zone, that is your Buddy. That comes into a mechanic later. We'll talk about it actually when we get into the crest. But you can put any card from the entire subclan nation, whatever you want to call it. I forgot the actual technical term is, even from the other deck, and it just goes into your order zone. It's going to be in your ride deck, so this deck is going to have like a 6-card ride deck. So continuous, you may only have one flag in your deck, and then Vanguard or order zone, this card cannot be affected by other abilities or effects. And when you would ride or call or play an ability of a card with only future card Buddy Fight, if that card is Dragon World or generic, you can ride or call or play its ability. Basically, it allows you to play the deck. Now, when you ride grade 1, we get this. I'm going to cover this now before we go into the rest of the ride line. This is the gauge zone. So this is super important. This deck does not have an energy generator, which instead of the energy generator resource, we have this resource. So you can only have one ride deck crest in your ride deck. Auto ride deck, when you ride, put a flag from your soul into your order zone. So the flag goes into the order zone. Put this card into the crest zone, and put the top 2 cards of your deck face down as a gauge. Gauge was a resource in Buddy Fight that they have now transferred into Cardfight Vanguard for these decks. Continuous, you can have gauge. When this card is put into your crest zone or at the beginning of your ride phase, put a card from your hand face down as a gauge, and then you get to draw a card. This is a mechanic that was in Buddy Fight called Charge and Draw. I know a little bit about Buddy Fight because I was starting to learn the game because I found one deck that I really liked, which isn't one of these. But if we get a deck like that in Vanguard, maybe I'll play it. Anyway, Buddy Call. This effect is hyper important. Act once per fight. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose a Buddy monster from your order zone, call it to rear guard, and counter charge 1. So whatever you put in the order zone as your Buddy, you get 1 free call of it, and it gives you a counter charge. Now, so we talked about the grade 0, we talked about the gauge zone. Now we have the actual ride line. So Adio Academy Gao Mikoto, when this unit is placed by riding from Dragon World, perform one of the following. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 armor dragon or up to 1 item card from among them, put it into your hand, shuffle the deck. All of the units are armor dragons, including the perfect cards. And then the arms are these things that we'll talk about in a minute. They're important. And then the second effect, you can search your deck for up to 1 Sunfist Sunshine Impact, equip it to this card without paying its cost, shuffle the deck. That's actually really important because you're basically going to equip one of these and have it for the entire game. And being able to make it free, when we talk about, especially when we talk about the cost of it, is fire. If you're okay with giving up with paying the cost, you can just do the top 7 search. Grade 2, Master of Mikoto style Aki Jujitsu Gao Mikoto. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, the top 7 cards of your deck for up to 1 card with the drum in its card name, or up to 1 item card from among them. Reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. All of the rear guards are drum. Even the only one that's not is obviously the perfect guard. So the grade 1 searches the perfect guard, the grade 2 does not. Other than that, they have the same search targets. And then lastly, we have the Mighty Sun Fighter Gao Mikoto. Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, when this card attacks, rest a rear guard, and until the end of that battle, link attack with the unit rest for the cost of this unit. So, whatever you pick, you swing with this. You rest a rear guard. You add the power of the rear guard to this. It's almost like a pseudo legion. And yeah, so you can get big numbers down the Vanguard line. Then Auto Vanguard, once per turn, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards in the link attack state, stand it, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose one of your rear guards with the drum in its card name and stand it. So, turn 3, if you went first, you would swing, get a link attack, then you would restood the card that linked attack, so that way you don't lose out on an attack. And then if your opponent's at grade 3, you would swing with your rear guard first, then do the link attack, then you get to restand both, and now you have 4 attacks. And then the last one, My Buddy. This is an act skill, Vanguard, once per turn. Soul Blast 1, search your deck for or drop for up to 1 Drum Bunker Dragon, call it to rear guard, and the cost of that unit's original act ability is reduced by 1 gauge until the end of turn. If you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Drum Bunker Dragon is specifically this one. The rest of them, some of them, a lot of them have Drum Bunker Dragon in their name, but this is the only one that's specifically Drum Bunker Dragon. And why searching this is important, we'll talk about it when we get to the rest of the support. So now let's go talk about the grade zeros. So the thing about the grade zeros in this deck, minus the OT, every single trigger unit is an order with an effect of some sort. So I'll talk about the OT first, because honestly I think this OT is kind of garbo, but the additional effect of this OT is you choose a normal order from your drop, you put it into your hand, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets critical +1 until the end of turn. Choose one of your Buddy monsters on the rear guard, and it gets critical +1 until end of turn. The reason I think this is garbo is because it gives 100 million power, it gives a crit specifically to the Vanguard. You only get to get a normal order back, which severely limits you. I guess the only good thing about it is you can get, I see. They did it so you can get back the impact orders, because the impact orders are supposed to be like big finishers, but you can only use them once per game. So if you resolve it normally, you can't even get that back, or there's no point to get it back. But back to what I was saying. And then the other effect to give a critical to your Bunny monster on the rear guard, that's the card you have that you put into the order zone at the beginning of the game. You basically have to have another copy of it on the board, and you want to have it in the front row so that way it can gain an extra critical. So if that's the case, you're better off playing Blue OT, in my opinion. Blue OT gives you the 100 million, gives you a crit, lets you grab any card, and it doesn't specifically have to give the critical to the Vanguard. You can give the critical to the rear guard. Also, Red OT is not going to be great for this deck because this deck restands after the Vanguard swings, not on swing. So again, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I think right now the best OT for this deck is going to be the Blue OT. It's if you're trying to have the OT help you finish the game, but you can also arguably play purple or yellow. Moving on. Front triggers. So here's the cool thing about these. I said it, they're all orders. Now the first 4 don't have order effects, but they're still considered order cards. They're trigger orders, but they basically have the same effects as effect triggers that we have now, minus the critical. So this front trigger is a soul front, where after you guard with it, you can guard with it as a trigger unit, so it doesn't count as playing like a blitz order, and then it'll go to soul. The draw trigger gains 5k shield. Well, it gains 5k shield and then gains an additional 5k shield if your opponent's at grade 3. 15k shield for this front, and it gains 5k if your opponent's at grade 3. Now this critical, Ultimate Buddy, is where things start getting a little spicy. Choose one of your rear guards and put this card into that unit's Buddy Soul. Buddy Soul is a mechanic that is fucking wild when we start talking about it. If this card is in your rear guard's Buddy Soul, that unit gets continuous Soul Guard. When this unit would leave the rear guard, put one of this unit's Buddy Souls into the drop for it to remain on the rear guard. This is basically what Soul Guard is. So just about all the rear guards have this mechanic called Buddy Soul, where basically you put a card underneath it, kind of like Overdress. And if that card would be removed from that rear guard circle for any reason, you get rid of the Buddy Soul instead, and the card stays. Like, I had to read it a couple times before it really clicked. This means if it would be removed by being destroyed by battle, if it would get retired by a card effect, if it would get bound, if it would get moved to prison, if it would leave the rear guard circle for any reason, you would get rid of the soul instead. And yeah, it's bonkers. And then of course 15k shield. Anyway, Boomerang Dragon. This is probably the generic support card I don't see us playing. Basically, if it boosts or attacks while you have a Gao Vanguard, it bounces back to hand. it's free, but it's a 6K, so it's like, I don't know, 6K grade 0. Anyway, let's talk about the second set of triggers. These are crazy. You're gonna see me playing some weird ratios in my trigger lineup for the deck for some reason. These are coded weird in the simulator. I don't know if I hope this doesn't apply in the actual game, but basically you can only have like 4 of certain of these. Like I can't have 4 criticals and I can't have 4 of these fronts. Like I can't have 4 of these and then like they clash. But anyway, let's talk about what they do. So first off, this one, Drago Energy. It's a 15k guard, but it also has the order effect. Choose one of your armor dragon units and it gets 3000 power until end of turn. You can use it as an order to just get those little bit of extra numbers. This one, you play this by paying a gauge. Again, gauge is an important resource. You choose one of your grade 2 or less rear guards and you put this card into that unit's buddy soul. So if you're playing against a heavy risk higher deck, you can just give something a soul so that way it stays on the board. This one's interesting. If your damage on has 4 or more cards, you play this with Counterblast 1 and discard your entire hand and you get to draw 2 cards. So this one doesn't have the extra 5k shield like the other draw trigger. But if you have no cards in hand, you can still just draw 2 cards. It doesn't say you have to. You discard your entire hand. It doesn't say it has to be like minimum 1. So this can be used as an oh shit pot of greed. Dragon Barrier. Put this you can just straight up put this as a gauge face down, which is nice. And then lastly, the best one, Green Dragon Shield. This thing is busted. During the guard step, it guards with a 15k shield. Same thing. It's the second effect that matters. Auto, when this card is put onto the Guardian Circle, if your damage zone has no face-up cards, discard a card from hand, countercharge 1. Both decks have a built-in on-guard countercharge. Every deck in the game would kill for this kind of effect. And this deck has it. Alright, so that's it for the grade 0s. Let's move on to the grade 1s. I'm trying to talk fast because, again, this is going to be long. Some of these grade 1s are for the other deck. We're going to just blow through them really quick. So this order right here, this order's Fire. Drago Wisdom Knowledge of 5th Omni. This card can be played from the drop, and play this if you have a Vanguard with Gao in its card name, or a Rearguard with 5th Omni in its card name. You bind this card, put the top card of your deck into the gauge face down, and you get to draw a card. So let me actually talk about what Sunfist Sunshine Impact does. I talked about searching it with the Rideline. I haven't talked about what this actually does. So arms Vanguard. After being played, you arm it. It's like Buff Sagra. So you have to pay a gauge to play this. Unless you use the grade 1, then you get to do it for free. So this is one of those times you could see how the gauge is used as a resource. So what this does is, during your turn, your Vanguard gets 5,000 power, and if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Gao in its card name, all of your front or rear guards with Drum in their card name get 5,000 power, which is the whole deck. Now, second effect, this is where things get spicy. Auto Vanguard once per turn when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks. If your buddy monster rear guard is in the link attack state, discard a Sunfist Sunshine Impact from your hand. Until the end of that battle, your Vanguard's power becomes infinity and it gets critical +1. Yes, I said infinity. That is real. So, but the specifics to it are, you have to be at grade 3, you have to be swinging with your Vanguard, and you have to specifically link attack with a copy of your buddy. So it doesn't have to specifically be the one that's in your buddy zone, but it has to be a copy of that card. And then you have to discard another copy of Sunshine Impact to be able to get the extra power. So pretty fucking crazy that we even got to infinity attack. We have our PGs. So this one, Blue Dragon Shield, this is an order PG. It's a blitz order. They have their own Elementaria Sanctitude, which I thought was really, really cool. This card is a generic card for both decks technically, but it's really bad. When this card attacks, Counterblast 1, and this unit gets +1 critical to end the battle. We'll never use that. And then we have Drum Bunker Dragon SD. So this one is our only real booster. When you Rearguard with a drum in its different card name as this unit is placed, Soul Blast 1 and perform one of the following. Put this card into that unit's buddy soul, or call this card to a Rearguard in the same column as placed. So if you want to make a column, boom. If not, you can put it into the buddy soul to give more protection for that Rearguard. Now we have our grade 2s, and now you're going to see why gauge is so important, because now we have all our different versions of a drum. So we're going to start off with the OG Drum Bunker Dragon. So call cost. So the thing about the call cost, I was a little confused about, but I know how it works now. If you call for any reason, unless it says do not pay the cost, you have to pay the gauge cost, even if you're superior calling or normal calling. The call cost for this one is you pay 1 gauge and put the top card of your deck into this card's buddy soul. You have to be careful. This deck will deck out because you blow through deck cards constantly. whether it be the gauges, whether it be the buddy souls, whether it be the drawing, you will burn through your deck, so you need to be careful with your resources. Okay, Act Rearguard. You pay 1 gauge. You search your deck or drop for up to 1 card with a drum in its different card name from this unit. Call it on top of this unit without paying its call cost, and if you search your deck, shuffle the deck. Now, I am a little confused here, because I've been told when you use this skill and you call over it, this card and all the cards underneath it go into the buddy soul of whatever card you call on top of it. It makes sense, you're calling on top of it. It literally says you're doing that, but doesn't specifically specify that on the card. And then I'm also wondering, if I normal called another card over this, would those cards go into that unit's buddy soul? It's just a little confusing, so if anybody has any clarification on that, let me know down in the comments. But basically, he lets you cheat out all your other drums without having to pay their cost, which is cool. And being able to stack buddy souls, you'll see why that's also good. Second effect, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, your unit with the drum in its card name with this card and its buddy soul gets plus 5,000 power, plus 5,000 shield, active on your opponent's turn as well. And then Soul Guard. This is what I told you guys about before. When this unit would leave the rear guard, put 1 of this unit's buddy souls into the drop for it to remain on the rear guard. So it doesn't matter how it's leaving the rear guard. So that's drum. That's our main searcher for everything. So first we got 5th Omni Dragon Lord Drum. This one doesn't have the dragon, the drum bunker dragon in its name, but this thing is cool. So this one is call cost is still paying 1 gauge. You put the top card of the deck or a card from your drop into this card's buddy soul. That's an important distinction because we don't always have to use our deck. The only one that has to use the deck is Drum Bunker Dragon. So keep that in mind. Auto Rearguard once per turn. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater, pay 1 gauge. Choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards, retire it, and this unit gets 10,000 power until end of turn. And then auto front row rear guard once per turn. When your damage check reveals a card, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Gao in its card name and you do not have another rear guard with the same name as this unit, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and discards it. So every turn you take at least 1 damage, your opponent has to discard a card as long as this is on the board. So kind of cool. It does get pretty beefy too, because it gains 10k power. It's going to gain 5k from the order, so not bad. And then of course it has Soul Guard to keep it on the board even longer. Now we have Blue Sky Knight's Drum Bunker Dragon. I think this is the most important grade 2 as far as early game goes, and kind of in the mid game too. So it has the same call cost, pay 1 gauge, put the top card of your deck or a card from your drop into this card's buddy soul. And just to clarify, the other 2 also have that same effect. They also are either from the top of the deck or from the drop, so I'm not going to cover it again. The only one that's only from the deck is Drum Bunker Dragon. So what this thing does, if you have the Mighty Sunfighter Gamikoto, the cost of this cost is reduced by 1 counterblast. So if you're at grade 3, you can do this for free. When this unit is placed on rear guard, counterblast 1, draw a card. So you can do that at any point in the game, but if you're on grade 3, it's free. And then auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, soul charge 1 and put the top card of your deck into, or put the top card of your deck into the gauge face down. This deck does use a lot of soul. It's kind of how it helps you build the board. So you can either soul charge 1 or you can put the top card of your deck face down as a gauge. And then of course Soul Guard. Now this one, Crimson Battler Drum Bunker Dragon, I think is the worst card of the support, and it's so bad I'm not even running it in my build. So it has the same call cost. Auto rearguard once per turn. When this unit attacks or becomes linked attack state, if you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard with Gao in its card name, this unit gets +1 critical until end of turn. And then it has Soul Guard. It does nothing else. Gains no additional power. Yeah, it's just gets a critical. It's nice because like you have multi-attack, so you can restand this with a critical. But that's it. It's gonna gain 5k power from our order. I guess on a Persona Ride turn it's nice, but doesn't actually help us do anything. If that makes sense to you guys. Now, Thunder Knight's Drum Bunker Dragon. This one I like. This one has the same call cost. When this unit is moved to the Guardian Circle from the rear until the end of that battle, this unit gets 5,000 shield, and it also gets 5,000 shield for each card in this unit's buddy soul. So this thing can get a massive shield, because look at this. It's got 5k shield. It's going to gain 5k from effect. Say you have drum in the buddy shield, the buddy soul. That's another 5k. So that's already a 15k, 5, 10, 15k shield. It'll get another 5k because you have at least one, and if you use Drum's effect to get it, that's 2 cards in the soul, so that's a 25k shield that you have as an intercept. That can't be retired. It can be locked though, so think about that. Artisaria would have a field day with this deck. Moving on. Okay. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater or becomes in the link attack state, this unit gets power plus 5,000. Oh, the other reason I don't like this, when you attack in the link attack state, you don't like give the critical to the Vanguard. So it's like, cool, it gets a critical, but it's like, that's so lackluster compared to what everything else does. But this, I've complained about defensive units and how making them just defensive does not help you win the game. I talked about it when it came to Protection Alden, where he has that grade 2 that gets a 20k shield. Cool, that's dope. But it does nothing else. Doesn't gain its own power boost, doesn't draw you any cards. It doesn't help you win the game. It just helps you prolong the inevitable. You know what I mean? But this thing gains a massive shield and also gains its own power boost on attack. And if you link attack with this, it's still going to gain the power boost and give that power boost to the Vanguard. All right, now lastly, we have the grade 3s. We already talked about this one. All we have left is Ultimate Neo Dragon Drum the Future. This is one of our kill cards. To call this, you have to pay 2 gauge unless you're using Drum skill. Keep that in mind. This one does not have the Soul Guard ability. Also an important distinction. So even if you have cards in this thing's buddy soul, they don't protect it. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets 10,000 power. Solid, so it's 23. If you link attack with this, you can give that 23 to the Vanguard and then it'll restand with 23. Auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit becomes link attack state, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, or you persona roll this turn, until the end of turn, this unit gets auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit attacks until the end of battle, your opponent cannot activate their auto abilities, and you get counterblast 1. This unit can perform drive checks, and it gets drive -1. So you swing at 4 damage, or if you persona rod, this thing gets the skill. Then after you restand it with Drum and swing again, after you restand it with Gao and swing again, you can counterblast 1. Get a guard restrict, so no perfect guards, and it gets a drive check. Solid. The cool thing is, because you gain the red tech skill on swing, if you link attack with it and you get a heal trigger, if you are already at 4 damage, you go down to 3, this thing still gets the power boost. Cool. Lastly, we have Gargantua Punisher. Some people aren't playing this. I'm playing 1 copy of it because I think the gimmick is hilarious. But this is our normal order. This is our impact order. This is what the OT wants you to grab. But don't worry about it. So continuous, you cannot play this card, and you use this ability if you have not resolved the ability for your impact order this fight. So if you can only use 1 of them per fight. Auto hand at the end of your turn. If your opponent's damage zone has 4 or more cards, and you persona road this turn, so your opponent has to be at 4 minimum, and you have to have persona road. You counterblast 1, discard this card, and you pay 4 gauge. That's the hard part, the 4 gauge. You say final phase. Choose one of your Vanguards and stand it, and it attacks your opponent's Vanguard. So, the cost for this is ridiculous, but the payoff is you get another Vanguard attack with Twin Drive. Funny story though, you have to say final phase. That's actually on the card. That just reminds me of Final Turn. That used to be a thing in Vanguard that came from the anime, where you would call it if you thought you were going to win. And I remember they banned people from saying it because they thought it was unsportsmanlike. But that's all the cards specifically for the Gao deck. So let's run through the deck real quick, and then we'll go jump into a game. So we have our ride line, we have our Persona rides. We're playing 2 copies of Ultimate Neo Dragon Drum. It's really, really easy to get out, especially because of Drum. Drum can get this from the deck or the drop. But we don't want to see this get bound or retire or stuck in the damage. So that's why we're running 2. Same thing with 5th Omni Lord. These guys are a lot of our main offense. This is our main early game card. This is also how we're going to get extra gauge. A lot of our combos revolve around Blue Sky Knights. That's why we're running it at 4. Thunder Knights is just a good defensive card. I like Thunder Knights. 3 PGs because we have the Order PG. 4 Drum Bunker Dragon SDs because it's our only booster, and typically this is actually the card I'm going to pick as my buddy, and you'll see why after. We're playing Gradius. If I'm incorrect and you can't play Cray Elemental cards because you're a Buddy Fighter now, let me know in the comments, because if I did, that's my fault, and I would just change it up. Obviously, you would have to run the Buddy the Buddy Fight OT. I would change what buddy I would normally use just to make sure the OT is always live, and then I would swap this out probably for a third copy of this guy, or maybe I would use the guy that gets a crit, or I would use a fourth copy of Sunshine Impact. Easy fix. But as far as I know, Cray Elementals are fine, but let me know if I'm wrong. We're playing the 1 Gargantual Punisher. We're playing for this order because this order gets us our gauge and draws us cards. I'm only using 3 Sunshine Impacts because other than the Sunshine Impact ability to discard, Sunshine Impact doesn't do anything else. So I was like, do I really need 4? Maybe I'm wrong. Trigger lineup, obviously we have blue OT. I went with the soul fronts because this deck uses a lot of soul, and then the effect crits and heals. The heal especially, you know, with the counter charge. But this is my deck. This is the one I've built together right now, so let's go find a game. Again, sorry for rushing. I just didn't want this video to be too long. All right, guys, we got a game. We're going first. Let's see what we got here. We're going to send these all back. We're going to keep the Persona Ride. We're going to keep the grade 2, and we're going to mulligan these back. Let me get the order. Damn, I really wanted the order. What just happened? Huh. Whatever. All right, let's try that again. All right, guys, we got a game. We're going second. All right, a couple cards we want to keep. Don't want this. We're gonna get rid of this because it's not live till turn 4, and we're gonna get rid of these. We're hoping to draw into our grade 2, which we did. All right, cool. Cool. Solid hand. And are we really up against Nirvana? We are. Interesting. All right, so now we gotta do a lot of things. So first off, we're gonna drop the order because the order can be played from the drop zone. We're gonna pick our buddy. I already said I'm gonna pick the grade 1 as my buddy. See, it lets me pick anything. All right, this goes to the order zone. Now that I picked my buddy, now I can charge and draw because I'm at grade 1 now. But what do I want? We'll put drum to charge and draw. You want to do that to make sure you have gauge, and then our Vanguard skill, which is going to let us equip this for free. We don't even have to pay the gauge, which is really important because that means we get to keep the extra gauge, shuffle the deck, and then we're going to use the order from the drop because it's a grade 1 order. We're going to bind it. Reveal it. We're going to mill the top 1, and then we're going to put that into the gauge, and we're going to draw 1. All right, cool. And now our Vanguard gets 5k because we have the arm equipped, and now we go battle phase. I should have went main phase. That was my mistake. But drive check, grade 3. We'll discard that because we can get it back with drum. Not too bad. Alright, calling Trick Moon. Alright, Vanguard swinging. We're not going to guard it because we want to be able to draw. Damage. I wanted that. Alright. First off, we got to charge and draw. That's our first priority. So we're going to use this one. Are we going to use a gauge on anything? Yeah, we use a gauge here. So you know what? We're gonna put drum in, and we're gonna draw, and then we're gonna drop to ride. All right. And now grade 2 skill. We check top 7 for a drum. Ooh, we want this one. Oh no, we're gonna grab the grade 1. We can discard him next turn. And then shuffle. All right, now we're gonna pay 1 gauge. We want to play the drum to get drum in the drop. Bang, and then skill. We're gonna put this into the soul gauge. Not the soul gauge, the buddy soul. And then skill, we're gonna counterblast 1. Well, sorry, in phase. We're gonna counterblast 1 and draw. All right, so now Vanguard has power +5 on it. His skill's not live until it attacks a grade 3, so we don't get any extra gauge at this point, but we're still looking at pretty solid right now. So we're gonna go battle phase. We're gonna swing with the rear guard. All right, and then we're gonna swing with the Vanguard. Ooh, we got Gargantua Punisher, and we have Persona Ride. Ooh, we might actually go for it. We already got our opponent at 3 damage. This could be gross. We just have to, you know, keep it slow, control our damage, not go too crazy with our gauges. Because what are we setting off for gauges right now? We have 4 already. You love to see it. You love to see it. Now remember, we have a built-in counter charge with our buddy call, so I don't have to go crazy on counterblast either. All right, so he's using Nirvana. He does have everything he needs, so are we going to see a 5 attack turn? I do not know. Now, just to talk about it right now, because you guys see me do it, when you rest a rearguard to link attack, it doesn't have to be your buddy unless you're trying to use the order skill. You know, where you have to discard an order to get the infinity power. So I picked the grade 1, but I can link with anything that's in my front row. Or anything on my board. I had an issue where I almost lost the game because I kept on doing the grade 1 thinking I had to, but you don't have to. All right, calling out a bunch of stuff. I just realized this guy's name is Yu. That's probably why he's playing Nirvana. He's a Yu fan. I didn't know Yu had fans. No, honestly, I have mixed feelings on Yu's new look. Alright, looks like they're doing the overdress. Alright, equip Verena, that's fine. It just gets 10k shield, no big deal. Now they get to check top 7 for Verena. 1 to hand and 1 to the drop, if I recall correctly. Now we gotta make sure we build up our gauges as much as possible. Oh, he's going to battle phase already? That's not good. So he gains 5k power. Why does this have 10k? Oh no, 2k. Oh, it's a grade 2. That's why. Is there... Well, we'll guard with this. So we can get it back. Oh, wait, no, wait. I lied. We're at grade 2. We're at grade 2. So we got a guard like that. And then no guard on the Vanguard. Restored the rear guard. Oof, critical. That's annoying. Alright. 2 damage. I wanted that order. Damn, now we have to extra guard because of the extra 5k. So we'll just do this. Alright. Alright, so first off we have to charge and draw. Remember, that's the most important thing. We gotta do that first. So we'll go charge and draw. Ooh, I want to keep these. And then we have to discard for ride. So we'll discard the grade 3 to ride. Now we'll go main phase. I didn't forget this time. Alright. So this is live now, so we can get extra gauge like that. We're going to use our Vanguard skill. We're going to Soul Blast 1. Search deck for a drum. Call it. Deck shuffle. Now we have to still pay the cost, so we're going to put this into the drop. And then with this one, remember, we have to put the top card of our deck with this one. So reveal 1, and this is going to go to our Buddy Soul. Alright, now we're going to go... Alright, so we're going to use the skill. We're going to pay 1 gauge. Pay 1 gauge to get another drum, put it on top without paying the cost. Actually, wait. I lied. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. Hold on. Quarter zone. He makes this skill free, right? Its actability is free. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do gauge. We get to do this. We don't have to pay the gauge, and we get to put it on top of this without paying the gauge because the drum's skill, right? Without paying its call cost. Dope. All right, so we're gonna go deck search. We're gonna grab this grade 2, and we're going to call it. You can't be retired, right? It can't be chosen. Okay, cool. So now, where'd my drum go? This guy's going into the Buddy Soul. Hold on. And this was in its Buddy Soul, so this goes too. Okay, cool. So now deck shuffle. All right, so now we gotta do power boost. So drum gives us 5k power. Order gives it 5k power. This guy gains 5k power. And this guy gains 5k power. And then we're going to use the grade 1 from the drop to Soul Blast 1 to call itself out, to give us a little bit more oomph. And then lastly, I think I actually want to do my buddy call now. So we're going to go reveal. We're going to call this guy, and we're going to countercharge 1. All right, cool. We have a whole ass board. So now we're going to go battle phase. We're going to go swing, skill, pay 1 gauge, gets power plus 10. I can't retire the front row because of Irina, but that's fine. That's what we wanted. All right. Now, thinking about it, maybe I should have did this the other way around. It's fine. Now we're going to swing, skill, rest, and we're going to give 15k to our Vanguard. And then is this when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater? Okay. So we're going to be using this when it attacks to get another gauge. Okay, he's guarding with the OT, twin drive, first check, second check. A heal trigger. We don't heal because they're at 4 now, but we will give the power here. Then we're gonna go skill, counterblast, restand the card, a drum rear guard, and the card we linked attacked with. And now we're going to go 30k to Vanguard. I wonder if they have any PGs, because if they didn't, and we had if we had another copy of the arm, that infinity plus crit would have been silly. So that's 33. And then we're gonna go swing, skill, reveal the top 1, and we're gonna put that into our order zone. So now we have 4 gauge. All right, and that is the end of turn. That was a good example of what the deck can do. Now, remember, we have the grade 2 in our front row, so if we take a damage, our opponent has to discard a card. Oh shit, we were missing 5k power on this one because we have drum in the Buddy Soul. So drum has a passive if we're at grade 3. Right? Hold on. If your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3, so yeah, we were missing 5k on this column. Keep that in mind for later. Now, Gargantua Punisher is live. Do we have any cards in Soul? We'll have 1 card in Soul when we ride, so we'll be able to fetch a drum, which can get us into our grade 3. We just need to make sure that we keep enough gauges. We have 4 gauges right now. So we got 4 gauges. We're gonna get one. We're gonna get one when we charge and draw. We're gonna have to pay 1 for drum. Then drum gets to ride it, go into the grade 3 for free. So I think we're good. And if we can get 1 more counterblast, I think we can go full power, have our absolute full power turn. But our opponent has so few cards in hand, so I don't even know if they're going to survive to see the full turn. Because we're looking at a 5 attack turn with 5 drive checks. We have a pretty good amount of defense too, and we're at 2 damage. We just have to be careful here because he's gonna be throwing out some numbers. And both of my rear guards have 5k shields if I need to guard with them, because of the drums inside their buddy gauges, their buddy souls. All right, here we go. 5 attack turn. Let's do this. $25k. Cool. We've got that. $33. Guard and intercept. And then skill. That gives it the extra 5k shield. Now, do I chance the Vanguard? The Vanguard's gonna have triple drive. How many crits has he been through? 2 there. 4 crits already with 26 cards in deck. I'll chance it. See if he gets the double crit. Did we just lose? Okay, we're good. So 1 and 2. I was about to be real upset. So that's 28, and that's enough to guard. All right, and we have OT for that. All right, cool. Final turn. So we start off by charge and draw. So we're actually going to charge that and draw. I'll take it. Persona Ride. Main phase. We're going to go skill, Soul Blast 1. Do we have a drum in the deck? We do not. Okay, so shuffle. We got to call the 1 from the drop. Call. We have to pay 1 gauge, and then we have to put a card into our buddy's soul. Okay, and now we can use his skill for free to call this thing. Bang. Which is our ideal call right now. But where's... Can I not see his buddy's soul at all? So we know he has a drum in his buddy soul. So this is gonna be power plus 5. Then power plus 5 from the order, and he's gonna have power plus 10 on his own. This thing's gonna have power plus 5, and then it has a drum as well, so another power plus 5. All right. So, and then this has power plus 5 from the order. So we are in there like swimwear. We're gonna go battle phase. We are going to start off with... Oh, I forgot to make him discard a card. Shit. I never remember that because it's an ability that's active on my opponent's turn. Now, do we have the gauge? How many gauges do we have? We have 4, so we cannot use this skill. So we're just going to go 38 to Vanguard. All right, he's intercepting. That's plus 10k, so that's 28. All right, that's guarded. Now we're going to swing skill. We're going to rest this. We're going to add 43k power to my Vanguard. Let me make sure the math is right on that. He's at 23, 33 because of his own skill, 5k, and 5k from drum, yeah? And then we're going to end up standing, and then this guy's skill goes up too. So now I get the extra drive check and the guard restrict when he attacks. $71 is crazy. Twin drive, first check, heal trigger, power to the rear guard, heal 1, and second. Damn, I almost wanted him to heal. Alright, so let's talk about how this turn should have gone after this. So this skill's already live, so we would have counterblasted 1, we would have restood the drum rear guard, and restood the card that we linked attack with. We would have swung with this guy. Then we would have swung with this. We would have used, actually we could have swung with this first to be able to get the drive check. Maybe I could have done that, but it's fine. We would have counterblasted, we would have got another drive check. That would have been a critical. I guess we would have gave it all to Vanguard now that I think about it. So hold on. Power minus 10. We gotta take the 43k off of this. Whoops. So yeah, and then it would have got the trigger power, so it would have been at 38, and then on our end phase we would have went final phase, counterblast, ditch the 4 gauge, ditch Gargantua Punisher, restand, swing again, twin drive, obviously all effects to Vanguard, and yeah. So that is a full power turn. That's you going ham. And the only thing I didn't do properly was I forgot to use this thing to make my opponent discard a card. So our opponent should have had one less card to be able to guard us with. All right, guys, here's one more look at the Gao deck. You guys got to see what it can do, because it definitely got to show off its stuff. You got to see how we use our gauge management to plan out our turns. You got to see how powerful this grade 3 is on the rear guard. You got to see how you want to abuse drum, why we need soul. The only thing, like I said, let me know about the OT and the Regalis piece. We wanted to run Gradius because we need Persona Ride to trigger Gargantua Punisher, so I want to make sure we have more ways to Persona Ride. But if we can't run those, then I already told you the tweaks I would make. I would add another Sunshine Impact, because this card is bonkers. Being able to swing for infinity for 2 is nuts, and especially if your opponent has the PG or they just die. And then we would just have to play the Buddyfight OT. It would change up what we picked as our buddy for the rest of the game, because you want to make sure you can swing with a copy of it. I would pick something that I would normally abuse, like this guy, because he's probably our best rear guard. You also didn't get to see, because we weren't playing against a retire deck or a control deck of any kind, but being able to keep these guys on the field with the Soul Guard is nuts. I actually played against a Messiah deck earlier where they would block my stuff, which is fine, but when they would go to bind at the end of turn, my dude stayed because of Soul Guard. Because I thought it was just off retire, but no, it's off of anything that would move them from the rear guard circle. So yeah, good deck. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for me. You guys want to check me out on social media? Those links are down below. If you guys want to see me play some Cardfight Vanguard live, come by the next live stream. Next live stream will be Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, I would love to have you. Swing by tomorrow when we talk about the Jackknife deck, which is actually my preferred of the two. And you'll see why once we talk about that. But I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
In my eyes, I was born for this. I got demons on my side, you ain't high like this. I got reason to believe, I don't need it from my gifts. Only I can change the world and it go like this.